Everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the GamerDad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So there's something I usually do in the Division 2, and that's basically talk about community builds made by community members and sometimes even by content creators and YouTubers. And there's one that's actually quite interesting to me. Now, I'm not going to show you the build because I actually want you to go watch this content creator's video. Now, Kamikazevondoom has been making Armor Regen builds in this game like he doesn't do anything else other than talk about Armor Regen. I mean, the guy is insane with that particular stat in this game. So what I did was I decided to go ahead and test out a version of this build for myself. Now, in this video, like I said, I won't show you the build. I'll leave a link in the description for you to actually watch his video, but I'll show you some of the components and talk to you about some of the differences between the way that I'm running it. Not because I'm running it any differently or any better. Actually, I'm running it because I don't have the items that he has in the sense that he has them. Now, one of the highlights of that build is the Murakami knee pads. This is what you're going to find out is when you try to make that build, you're going to have to find a version like his. His has got the Armor Regen, the 1% Armor Regen that's here, and also has another Armor Regen stat as well. So I don't know how he got that. I think that's one of those things. I mean, I watched the video where he got that item, but that is a very rare item for a lot of people to get. Now, somebody might be like, oh, I have that in my stat. Yeah, we get it. The RNG is on your side. Whatever. Leave us alone. Well, those of us that have minimal or mediocre RNG, we're probably thinking to ourselves, how are we ever going to get that? But that adds an extra 4,000 something Armor Regen to the build, then making it even better. So that's, in my opinion, one of the highlights of the build. Now, I will also show you my gameplay with a minimal version of this particular build. And that minimal version is pretty much the version that doesn't even have all of the stats maxed out. That's another thing too. So if the minimal version of the build is already, serving me well, I strongly believe that anybody that can even put anything together better is going to benefit from it. And like I just said, I just followed through and showed you pretty much the most difficult thing to get in that build. Another thing that had me do a little change, even though Mr. Von Doom recommends that you use the Lady Death, something that really did go ahead and, shape my own, how do I put it? It shaped my own approach towards that build is I decided to run a shotgun along with my Lady Death. So my Lady Death is kind of a primary because it's very powerful in the context of that build. I went ahead and I used the SX-12, which is basically the mop, the named SX-12, because that particular weapon has a talent that I've been trying to use for a long time. I've been wanting to see what Pumped Up is going to really do. And it basically, yes, it gives me 10% armor on kill, which is really nice because the armor regen is already helping me. And then the armor on kill just really puts the, icing on the cake very easily. And Pumped Up says reloading grants 1% weapon damage for 10 seconds and stacks up to 25 times. So as I'm shooting, as I'm, basically reloading, I'm basically, giving myself a huge stack of, a lot of weapon damage. And by the time I stack 25% extra damage on top of this, you're looking at over 1 million plus damage if I'm a full stacks, for the, duration and 130 RPM. It'll be hard within the 10 seconds nonetheless to kind of get the full stacks because, you're running around trying to tag these NPCs, you're dodging and everything. But, I think you could just reload because it says reloading grants 1% weapon damage. So I don't think you necessarily have to reload from empty because if we had a talent that wanted you to reload from empty to grant you the stats, they would more than likely indicate that for you guys. So these are basically some of the changes that I've made. And as I said, my build is not even as good, but you see me taking down enemy NPCs. Now, another really cool thing that has to be noted is I tried to, get really comfortable. And by the way, I've been using this build for at least the last few dozen shade levels that I've actually acquired on my character. So for those of you who've been watching, it's been kind of challenging to get this character to shade level 1000 because I've been playing on every platform so far. So I've been working my way trying to get to 1000 because my others, you also have to spend time and farm. And then my PlayStation character is also somewhere around 200 and something. So it would be really nice if Massive will stop being stingy and actually give us cross save. That way I don't really have to do all this extra work, and so do other people who play across the, the game. But this is something where I recommend and I say steal this build. This build really does rock. And like I said, I'll leave a link in the description below because I really want you to go there and see the build yourself. But from my perspective, I think it's a solid build. One really big challenge in this game is, you know, whenever a build comes to table, you know, everybody has their different opinions. So even if when you try this build and it doesn't work for you, I guess it's a matter of preference at that point. You may not like the amount of damage it does. You may not care much for all of that armor regen, but that's your own preference. But also, the reason I'm trying this build is because Armor Regen is also one of my favorite stats. When True Patriot first came out, I was running it and I was talking about the Armor Regen aspect of it. And a lot of people really did dismiss Armor Regen. Not until later, when, you know, agents like Kamikazevondoom, even You Know the Vibes, started talking about it, did it become something of a phenomenon. But that's basically it from me. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.